Welcome military upgrade. The U.S. Air Force is preparing to radically alter the acquisition strategy for its next generation of fighter jets, with a new plan that could require industry to design, develop and produce a new fighter in 5 years or less. On October 1st, the service will officially reshape its next-generation fighter program, known as Next Generation Air Dominance, or NGAD, Will Roper, the Air Force's acquisition executive, said during an exclusive interview with Defense News. Under a new office headed by a yet unnamed program manager, the NGAD program will adopt a rapid approach to developing small batches of fighters with multiple companies, much like the Century series of aircraft built in the 1950s, Roper said. Based on what industry thinks they can do and what my team will tell me, we will need to set a cadence of how fast we think we build a new airplane from scratch. Right now, my estimate is 5 years. I may be wrong, he said. I'm hoping we can get faster than that. I think that will be insufficient in the long term, to meet future threats. But 5 years is so much better than where we are now with normal acquisition. The Century series approach would be a notable departure from the Air Force's former thinking on its future fighter. In its Air Superiority 2030 study released in 2016, the Air Force described a long-range, stealthy sensor shooter called Penetrating Counter-Air, which would act as NGAD's central node networked with sensors, drones and other platforms. The Air Force would use prototyping to speed along key technologies in the hope of maturing them early enough for inclusion in advanced aircraft fielded in the early 2030s. But what Roper calls the Digital Century series would flip that paradigm. Instead of maturing technologies over time to create an exquisite fighter, the Air Force's goal would be to quickly build the best fighter that industry can muster over a couple years, integrating whatever emerging technology exists. The service would downselect, put a small number of aircraft under contract and then restart another round of competition among fighter manufacturers, which would revise their fighter designs and explore newer leaps in technology. The result would be a networked family of fighters, some more interrelated than others, developed to meet specific requirements and including best-in-breed technologies aboard a single airframe. One jet might be optimized around a revolutionary capability, like an airborne laser. Another fighter might prioritize state-of-the-art sensors and include artificial intelligence. One might be an unmanned weapons truck. But the point, Roper said, is that instead of trying to hone requirements to meet an unknown threat 25 years into the future, the Air Force would rapidly churn out aircraft with new technologies, a tactic that could impose uncertainty on near-peer competitors like Russia and China and force them to deal with the U.S. military on its own terms.